So now we have been reached to the end of the course, and before wrapping up, actually I have to do some final touches for our levels, so that we can uh, have some quick recap about what we have been done on the course, and we can wrap up the section. Okay, so now almost all of our features are stable and our maps are also there, and here there are multiple different actors on our levels, and I think it would be worth organizing this stuff as well, so later on when we are referring, you can understand what are those individual components one by one without going through again and again through the entire levels, right? And also for the future updates also, it will be much more easier, maybe like if you are replacing it with your own custom logics or custom actors, it will be easy for the replacement and other stuffs. Okay, right, so let's start from the very first map and do the refactorings. So I can see the buildings are there, so I would say let's organize them into a dedicated folder called buildings. Okay, so all those stuff are there, and then manage instances, you can move it to another folder called managers, and these managers maybe you can organize a little bit as well, so they are not spawned everywhere, they are just on a one place. Okay, and here you can see the level manager billboard is not sort of aligned with the level of the other managers, so let's go to the TOD manager and check for its billboard offset. It is 100, and I'm gonna go for the level manager, and for its billboard let's give 100 as well. So all of those billboards are on the same level, which looks much more cleaner. Okay, and the landscape and player start are like default things that you can see on any level, so I can keep it outside like this as the root components. Okay, so now you can see we have a very good hierarchy of organizing the elements. Okay, so we have to repeat the process for the rest of the maps. And map building CRNs also, let's just search for building. We have all of these buildings, right? And I'm gonna move it to a folder called buildings, and then we have roads. So roads and road intersections, we can clutter it into one group. I'll call this one as procedural roads, because those are roads and road component. And we have manager instances. These three are the manage instances. Assign it to a group called managers. And they are also, if you want, you can organize their orientation a little bit as well. Okay, right, buildings, managers, procedural roads, and there are two static vehicles. You can place them into a folder called vehicles, and these are like default road component, we can keep them as it is. And map optimization CRN, yeah, there also we can do some changes. We have this road element, all of them can be organized into a directory called procedural roads, and manager instances into a directory called managers. We have one vehicle instance, assign it to vehicles, and we have zones. Maybe let's assign it to another category called zones. These are root values, root components. Okay, now add the map pedestrian CRA. Again, let's repeat the process. All those road components go to procedural roads directory. I know this is a repeated process that you may board quickly, but I think it is worth organizing everything properly and have a clean architecture everywhere so that it will be easy for us later on when we are managing a very large level of logics later on. Okay, because just imagine how much complexity it will have to have a open world game. Okay, so this is just a one system that we were focused on. Well, it actually had some subsystems as like TOD manager, with the manager and things like that, but overall this is a one complex system, right? But when it comes to real world open world game, the complexity can be further increased when we're adding more and more features. So it is pretty much required to have a clean architecture everywhere, even at the level design. Okay, so that's why actually I'm organizing this stuff. Okay, pedestrian CRN map is also done. Now road intersections, all these road segments go to the procedural roads. All the managers go to the managers. Pedestrian CRN, how we place the, yeah, these are organized, and here also let's keep them in cleaner form. Okay, map roads. These are going under the procedural roads. These are managers. Let's organize them as well a little bit. So it is not actually required to organize the orientation of these manager instances, but as I mentioned earlier, I would prefer having some cleaner architecture, right? So here we only got 3 managers, so I'm gonna create a one directory called managers, and maybe keep it to them like this, right? Then let's go to the smart spawns. We have spawners. Let's organize all of them into a directory called spawners, and we have managers. Okay, and fix the orientation, right? Then we have map TOD. Again we have road street light. Yeah, let's assign all of them into one directory called procedural roads. Level manager, TOD manager, and weather manager goes into managers. Vehicles goes into directory called vehicles. Manager instances are there. Maybe we can keep them closer to each other like this. Okay, and let's go to the map traffic lights and pedestrian crossings. So pedestrian crossing road can be organized into one directory called procedural roads. Level manager, TOD manager, and weather manager goes into another directory called managers. Vehicle goes into a directory called vehicles. And those manager instances, we can keep them like this. Okay. Right, now map traffic lights and pedestrian CRN level. So there we got a lot of components. Let's start with buildings. These are the buildings that we have. Buildings. And we have some procedural road components. Set of pedestrian crossings and some road elements and some road intersections. All of them go to one directory called procedural roads. And level manager, TOD manager, and weather manager goes into another directory called managers. And this cube, I think I just added it for the demonstration purposes of that vehicle, so we can simply remove that one. And these are some static vehicles. Let's create a new folder called vehicles. That map is also done. Then we have map vehicles. Right. So here we can organize all of these elements to directory called procedural roads. These are manager instances. I couldn't check the manager orientations on the previous map. Here are the okay, the orientation is okay. Right, now here let's organize them into directory called managers. The orientation is also fine. And there are some cubes. Yeah, there are. Okay, so I added these cubes just for test the the collisions of the vehicle, right? Maybe we can keep them as it is. That's fine. Okay. And at the vehicle CRN, we have set of components. All those road element goes to procedural roads directory. All the manager instances goes to a managers directory, and vehicles goes to directory called vehicles. Save it. And the managers there, and map weather. We got only one road, so I need to a category called procedural roads, 3 managers, and we can fix the orientation a little bit. Like this. And finally we got maps on CRN. Let's open that up. And here, let's organize all the road elements into a directory called procedural roads managers into managers, and these zones into zones category, and the vehicle goes to vehicles category. Okay, right, so those are the map refactorings that I want to done, and I think everything is there pretty much fine now. Okay, right, so we got our system now. I think maybe we can have a one single map that implements all of those features at runtime. Okay, so I think currently this map traffic lights and pedestrian crossing CRN has bunch of systems or components. We have buildings, managers, procedural roads, vehicles, everything is there. The only missing part is zones. So in order to implement zones and enable all the dynamics at runtime, I will duplicate this map, which is map pedestrian, map traffic lights and pedestrian crossing map. Sorry, map traffic lights and pedestrian crossing CRN map, and I'll create a map called map underscore final. Okay, that's the final map that I'm being focused on. So we have everything, but we have to implement the zones. So I'm gonna add some zones. How we can do that? Maybe we can go to the zones map, zones CRN, and at there we can simply copy these zones, right? So I'm gonna take a copy and go to the final map and simply paste here. So you can see all those zones are now is being placed. But since we're having some inclined and declined areas, maybe you can increase the height as well, but it is not necessary because zones simply defining a dedicated area. Okay, but maybe since these text are overlapping with the component and stuff, if you want you can adjust its height as well. But I think in my scenario I can clearly see the text names and stuff, so I don't need to make any additional changes. So I can keep everything as it is, save it, and in order to enable the zone specific spawns, you have to go to the level manager. Not the level manager actually. You have to select the road elements. These road elements, and there is a variable called allow zone based pedestrian spawns. So I'm gonna enable that one for the pedestrians. And for the vehicles, there is a variable called allow zone based vehicle spawns. I'm gonna enable that one too. Now if I play it, the zone specific spawns are there. You can see green and red pedestrians are over here, and some red pedestrians are here, and some blue color pedestrians are here, because those are zone specific pedestrians. And you can see when I'm switching the zones, it will showcase that zone name as well on the UI. Also, you can see the weather transitions are also there. Only missing part is time of the day transitions. So we can implement that as well. All you have to do is, let's go to the TOD manager, and I'll enable day night cycle. Now if I play, you can see time of the day transitions are also there. Okay, so you can actually increase the time of the day transitions if you increase, or if you reduce the time step. Maybe let's just say 0.1. Sorry, not the time step, actually the time increment speed. Let's just say 0.1. So you can see now we have speed transition. So if you have 0.01, it will be much more faster, and the transitions are there. Okay, so it is totally up to you to have whatever the speed that you prefer, but I think having 1 is the standard time increment speed, so that each 1 second will be equivalent to real world 1 minute increment. Okay, which means it has a much more stable environment. Okay, and I think those are the stuff that we can do. So you can see all the pedestrians are there, vehicles are there, and buildings are there, and time of the day transitions are there, weather transitions also implemented, and all of them are properly synced. Okay, and additionally, actually I have been covered those optimization techniques as well, so you can enable the optimizations and increase the frame rate or stabilize the frame rate as well. All those stuffs are there, so you can play around. But overall, I would say this is our final preview for the procedural road system, and we have covered a lot. Actually, we have covered a whole lot of theories and implementations, and I hope you have enjoyed this course. So even this is the end of the tutorial, or even if it is the end of the course, I may have published some new appendix later on, because of maybe some of you request new features, or maybe some of you will identify some bugs that I couldn't find out. So in such scenarios, I will maybe post some new tutorials later on, but I would say for the time being, this is the end of the course. Okay, right, and this is the final tutorial, and I hope you have enjoyed the course, and I'll see you there on a new course, and thank you. Have a nice day.